All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're diving into something that's on the mind of a lot of global entrepreneurs, the UK Innovator Founder Visa. We're going to break it all down and figure out how to crack the code so you can turn that startup dream into a UK reality.
So, picture this. You've got this incredible idea, right? You see all the potential waiting for you in the UK market, but then you slam right into the wall that is the Innovator Founder Visa process. And if you're feeling kind of daunted by it all, trust me, you are not alone. This thing is a real challenge, and it's tripped up even the sharpest founders out there.
You know, there's a phrase for this whole process that I think is just perfect. A handcuffed tap dance. It really nails it, doesn't it? You're supposed to perform this amazing, complex routine, but you're doing it while being held back by these really rigid rules that just feel impossible. So come on, let's take a closer look at those handcuffs, and maybe we can figure out the steps to this dance together. Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll tackle what's called the innovator's impossible triangle. Then, we'll get into the good stuff, cracking the 4F formula. After that, we'll break down the what, your product market fit, the who, where, and why. And finally, the proof, how you put it all into your plan and pitch. All right, first things first, let's talk about the biggest hurdle, the one every single person applying for this visa has to face, the innovator's impossible triangle. And you got to understand this if you're going to beat it. So here's the absolute crux of the problem. The UK Home Office says your startup has to be innovative, viable, and scalable. And not eventually. They want all three proven from day one. Now, for any normal early-stage company, trying to prove all of that at the same time, it's a huge ask. It's almost a contradiction in terms. And these challenges even have these really vivid names. They're called the trio of shackles. First, you've got the innovation noose, which means your idea has to be totally original. Then there's the viability guillotine. You literally have to prove it's gonna work before it's even working. And to top it off, the scalability trap, where you need a concrete plan for growth and creating jobs from the get-go. And this chart just lays it all out so clearly. Think about a normal startup journey, right? You innovate a bit, you test things out, you find a way to make money, and then if you're successful, you scale. It's a process. But the visa journey? Nope. You have to prove all three, innovation, viability, scalability, at the exact same time. It's this high-stakes, all-or-nothing judgment, and if just one piece seems weak, you're out. Okay, but don't get discouraged. Now that we know what the problem is, we can talk about the solution. And there is a solution. It's a framework called the 4F formula, and honestly, this is the secret code we've been looking for. And here it is. It looks like a simple equation, but it's incredibly powerful. Basically, getting that endorsement comes down to product market fit times founder market fit times Britain market fit, plus a little bit of what's called fortune. If you can get a handle on these four things, you've pretty much mastered the entire application. So let's decode that real quick. PMF, or product market fit, is the what. What are you actually building? FMF, founder market fit, is the why you. Why are you the perfect person to build this thing? BMF, Britain market fit, is the why here. Why does this have to be in the UK? And finally, fortune. That's all about strategy. It's the why now. And with who? Which endorsing body are you choosing? Nail the answers to these four questions, and you're golden. All right, let's start breaking that formula down piece by piece. We'll begin with the absolute bedrock of any startup, visa or not. Product market fit. So what exactly is product market fit when we're talking about this visa? It's not just about having a cool product idea. It boils down to one critical question. Are you solving a major, genuine pain point for a very specific, identifiable group of early adopters? And check this out. Here's a case study that shows just how important that distinction is. There was this Web3 project called Growing 3. They were solid enough to get funding from a VC, but when they went for the visa, they got rejected. And this just proves a massive point. What a venture capitalist thinks is a great business idea is not the same as what an endorsing body thinks is a viable project for this visa. Okay, next up, we're going to bundle the next two F's together, founder market fit and Britain market fit. This is all about the who, the where, and the why. It's about you, the founder, and why your project has to be right here in the UK. And to explain founder market fit, there's this absolutely brilliant analogy about the race to the South Pole. So which explorer are you? Are you the P-type founder, like Scott? All passion, let's just go, kind of improvising along the way. Or are you the L-type founder, like Amundsen? Totally logic-driven, meticulously planned with backup plans for his backup plans. I'll give you a spoiler. The endorsing bodies want Amundsen. They're looking for that prepared, logical L-type founder every single time. And that brings us to the final piece of our formula, fortune. But don't let the name fool you. This has zero to do with luck. It's all about strategy. Think about this quote. Choosing an endorsing body is not a transaction. It's choosing a long-term partner. That's the key. Finding the absolute right endorsing body for your specific project. That strategic decision. That is your fortune. Okay, so you've got the 4F formula figured out in your head. That's great. But now you have to actually prove it on paper and in person. So this final section is all about turning that formula into a killer business plan and a convincing pitch. Writing a business plan from scratch can feel, well, super overwhelming. So let's just break it down into the 7 essential elements you have to nail. You've got your product, the market opportunity, your competitors, the business model, financials, your team, and your funding needs. If you think of this as the skeleton for your whole argument, getting this structure solid means you're building on a strong foundation. And please, remember this key idea. A business plan isn't something you just write once and it's done. It's something you revise. It's constantly evolving. And every single version you create is actually a step up in your own thinking. It shows you're getting smarter about your own business. Now, inside your financial plan, there is one magic number that you've got to prove. It's the ratio of your LTV. That's the lifetime value of a customer to your CAC, which is the cost to acquire that customer. And that ratio, it needs to be greater than 3. Put simply, you have to prove that for every £1 you spend getting a customer, you're going to make more than £3 back from them over time. And then, after all that planning, all that writing, you get to the interview. This is it, the final test. And it's not just them quizzing you on your plan. It's where you have to embody that L-type founder we talked about. You've got to prove that you're the real deal, that you know this stuff inside and out. And all of this leads to a pretty big, thought-provoking question, doesn't it? Does a process this intense actually find the most creative, the most groundbreaking innovators? Or does it just find the most masterful game players, the people who got really, really good at playing this specific game? It's a fascinating question to chew on. Thanks for tuning in to The Explainer.